Good morning. Christmas is coming. I have a question. Raise your hand if you are finished Christmas shopping. It's not even half. You guys got some stuff to do today. If you have not finished your Christmas shopping, I want to help you out a little bit today. So I need a volunteer. Come on, Kathy. Yeah, what did you just do? That's a good question. That is a very good question. What did you just do? Come on up. I'm going to bring you on stage.
Okay.
I'm going to have you stand right here. Everybody give a hand clap to Kathy. Okay. We're going to play a little game. It's Christmas. I'm going to help you with your shopping. So we're going to start off. I'm going to give you a Chick-fil-A gift card. It's $5. Who doesn't love chicken? So maybe there's a grandkid or somebody that could use that. But I have 3 other gifts over here. And so I'm going to give you the option. You can trade that to me for one of these gifts. Now, I will say at the very least, there is a $20 gift card to another different restaurant. And so you could be upgrading. We'll see what else there is, but who knows? Do you want to trade? Does she want to trade? You give it to me. What do you want? Which one? You have to stay there. You can't let's not like I'm peeking.
The little one.
The little one. People love going for the little one. That happened last service too. They're just assuming. Who knows? You got to look. You got to see. I don't even remember, honestly. I set these up this morning. I don't even remember which one it is. Did you get the gift card? She got the gift card. Merry Christmas. Thanks for hanging out with me, Kathy.
Thank you.
I'm going to help you get down.
Sure.
Let's show her what she could have gotten if she had not gotten that. Because it's just not as funny. We have a trash bag, single. I mean, you could use it for yard work, which would be awesome. And then my daughter made me buy this one because she's convinced that I look like a gnome. And I indulged her because I'm a good dad. So, toilet paper. She made the good trade, did she not? What I love about this season is that it is about gifts. So it's about this generosity that God gave to us. So God gave us a gift in Jesus coming down to earth, and then Jesus gave us a gift through his life by giving up his life so that we could have a relationship with Jesus. And so we get this incredible opportunity every Christmas season to celebrate those gifts. And so because of the generosity that God gave towards us, we get to be generous to others. God gave us this incredible gift. Pastor Rob, in this series that we've been in, started the first week by just kind of sharing that gift that God gave us, the very first birth announcement in Isaiah 9:6. And so this is from the Old Testament. This is actually a prophecy about Jesus and about who he would become. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders. And he will be called Wonderful Counselor. What an incredible counselor, what incredible wisdom we have from Jesus. What this opportunity that we have to have a relationship with him, to seek his guidance, his counsel. He is the mighty God. He is the one who raised people from the dead and even raised himself from the dead. And then we have everlasting Father. He is our protector. He is our provider, always there with us. And then finally, we are going to close today by talking about that he is the Prince of Peace. He is the Prince of Peace. Now, I don't know about you, but my life the past 2 weeks has been incredibly busy. I've had a million school things. I've had a ton of work stuff as we get ready for Christmas Eve coming up. I know it's a surprise. Pastors do work more than one day a week. It's not just Sunday. We have other stuff going on. But it has been busy, and for me, that busyness, if I am not careful, can absolutely steal my peace. It can take that peace from me. And my question for you is that as you come into this Christmas season, do you feel peaceful? Do you feel that Jesus is your Prince of Peace? That word prince is interesting because for us, like we hear the word prince and almost all universally, unanimously think prince is just the son of a king. And so prince is a son of a king. Jesus was that, but also prince for the Israelites and for the people that Isaiah was talking to also was a government official. It was just someone who was in charge. Joseph from the Old Testament, Daniel from the Old Testament. These are people that had held high positions in government and probably would have been referred to as princes. And so for us, like as we look at Jesus, we're looking at him as our Prince of Peace. We're also looking at he's the one who's in charge. And when he is in charge of our lives, when he is in charge of the things that are in us, his rule, his reign, it brings peace. And so my question is, do you feel peace? Or do you have chaos? Do you have chaos in your life? Do you have relationships that are messing things up? Do you have a situation at work that is introducing chaos into your life? The things that are just stealing your peace. Maybe it's a relationship with a child. Maybe one of your kids. Maybe that is stealing peace from your life. What is the chaos in your life look like? What is the thing that steals your peace? Because when Jesus came, he came to give us peace. He is our Prince of Peace. As a matter of fact, some of the last words that he shared with us before he left and ascended back to heaven, he said, "Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid." I want to point this out real fast, that Jesus, he's giving us his peace. His peace that had peace in all circumstances. The peace that would allow him to go to the cross and give up his life for us. That's the peace that he's giving to us. It's not just this random, generic peace. Jesus is telling us that he's giving us his peace. He's giving us his peace. And then I want to point this out too as we move on. Jesus said, do not. He said, do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid. Jesus is telling us that there is a choice. That we don't just have to exist in chaos. That we don't have to just exist in our anxious or anxiety. We don't have to exist in that place. Jesus is telling us that we do have a choice. That when he left, he came to give us his peace. And in this Christmas season, as we look to him and celebrate him as the Prince of Peace, let's allow ourselves to find that peace. Because what is incredible about a peace that we have, that we can hold on to, that we can believe in, no matter what our circumstances is, it allows us to present this incredible picture to the people around us who do not know him. That there's something different for us. That we have something that allows us to have peace despite any circumstance that we might have in our lives, despite any chaos that we might have in our lives. And so Jesus gives us peace. Now, the Apostle Paul, who wrote most of the New Testament, in the book of Philippians, he kind of gives us some tips. He gives us this way for us to move forward that is this path towards the peace that Jesus has for us. And I want to share that with you this morning. We're going to start in Philippians 4, verses 6 through 7. Do not be anxious about anything. Once again, Paul he's echoing Jesus' words. Do Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation. Paul's telling us that everything, God cares about everything, and everything that we experience, every situation that we have, we are supposed to, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And so Paul's telling us, do not be anxious, but in every situation, pray, give God your petitions, and with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And then he tells us what would happen next. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. That's a pretty incredible peace. And it transcends all understanding. Jesus is offering a kind of peace that will be with us despite anything that we experience. And Paul says it's not just that peace, but it is a peace that transcends human thought and human understanding. That when we look at the situations that people go through, when we look at the circumstances that people have, when we are experiencing strife, when we are experiencing doubt, when we are experiencing just this grind of busyness or feeling like we don't have enough to make it, Paul's telling us that if we can approach God, that he will give us that peace that transcends understanding. It is the path to how you can have peace no matter the sickness, no matter the death in our lives, no matter the conflict. And it begins with this. So let's go back to that first verse. Let's talk about a few things. I believe that we're going to go through a few verses and talk about what Paul's telling us. It says, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation. And there are three words that I think are really important. Prayer, and when we have petition, so prayer and petition, we would think, is that the same thing? It's not the same thing. It's not the same words. So they have different meanings, different things for us to think about. And with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And so Paul's telling you, hey, if you want this peace that surpasses understanding, this peace that transcends our human way of thinking, this peace, this is what we have to do. We have to, in every situation, by prayer, petition, thanksgiving. And so what we have is Paul's kind of given us the formula for right praying. So if we want a peace that surpasses understanding, we have to pray. And we have to pray in the way that Paul is kind of directing us. So he starts with the word prayer, which in this, it means adoration. It means worship. And so Paul's telling us that when we go to God with our situations, with our issues, when we come to bring him our requests, that we need to start with worship. We need to start with reminding ourselves who God is and how big he is, and reminding ourselves that no matter what problems we face, God is bigger. And so when we come to bring our requests, we have to remind ourselves of who he is. And then he says, so prayer and then petition. Petition, another word for this would be supplication. Fancy word, but it's a word. And what it kind of means for us through that is that they're earnest prayers. There are prayers shared where we give him everything, all of our thoughts. We don't hold anything back. This is not a half-hearted prayer. This is not a, hey God, if it would be really nice if you did this. That'd be really great if you did this for me. That's not the kind of prayer that we are talking about. We are talking about earnest, full force, giving God everything, not holding anything back as we share this request to him. And so we first start by acknowledging who he is and reminding ourselves how big he is. And then we bring our requests, and then we finish with thanksgiving. We finish by telling God that we appreciate the things that he has done. We finish even by telling God we appreciate the things that he's going to do, because we have brought this prayer to him. And we know that he is going to give us an answer. Maybe the answer is the peace. Maybe the answer isn't fixing the situation. Maybe the answer is the peace. That God just reminds you that he's got you and that he's going to be with you. And that, like Paul said in Romans, that no matter the situation, he's going to work it out to our good. Right praying. Approaching God correctly. Let's go on. Philippians 4:8. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Think about such things. And so Paul, right, he's following up, like he's just kind of going in this list. He's saying, don't be anxious about anything. Come to God with your right prayer, and then directly after it, he's saying you also have to have right thinking. If you want the peace that transcends understanding, you need to have right thinking. We need to actively choose the things that we think about. We need to actively choose the things that we consume, the things that we see in our lives. We need to make choices about them. My question for you is that when you think about the things that you consume, when you think about things that you listen to, the things that you watch, the things that you scroll through, are they pointing you to Jesus or are they pulling you away? Are they inviting more chaos and division into your life, or are they adding peace? Because your input equals your thoughts. The things that you put into your life, they are going to be the things that you think about. They are going to be the things that drive how you think and what you think. And so if we are intentional about how we approach that, and about the things that we watch, and about the things that we listen to, the things that we allow into our minds, if we are intentional about it, how in the world do we think that we can ever have peace if we just allow the scrolling to bring division? How often do we trade the peace of Jesus for our scrolling? How often does Jesus offer us some good chicken and we choose the trash pack? How often in your life are you making that trade, where you're just kind of allowing the algorithm to decide what your peace is going to be? Take control. Make the choice. Don't just exist. Control the things that you think about and the things that you put into your life. And then Paul goes on. He says, whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, put it into practice, and the God of peace will be with you. And so we're kind of closing this out. And Paul's telling the Philippians, he's like, whatever you've seen me do, whatever the things are that you've seen me practice, what are the disciplines that I have done? What are the things that I've shared with you? What is the counsel that I've given you as you enter into these situations and as you think about these things and as you exist in this world that is persecuting you? What are the things that I have done? How am I approaching this? The incredible thing about this letter to the Philippians is that as Paul is writing this, he's most likely currently chained to a Roman soldier and in prison for the gospel. And Paul is telling them, hey, whatever you've seen me do, you've seen me be in prison, you've seen me suffer consequences, you've seen me suffer all of these different things in my life. And my question to you is, if you've seen me do it, you do it. We need right living in our lives. The benefit that we have that the church in Philippi did not is that we have all of Paul's writings for us available every day. You can put it in your pocket on your phone. And if we make decisions and choose not to follow what Scripture has told us, what Scripture has guided us, how Jesus has shared the way that we are supposed to live. Because if we make those choices, how in the world are we going to have the peace that he has for us? Every time that we sin, every time that we make a choice, that when we make the choice that Jesus, you're not Lord today, Jesus, you're not Prince today, I'm going to go my own way, make my own choices. Every time we make that choice, we are inviting chaos into our lives. How can we have Jesus' peace if he isn't your Lord? How can we have Jesus' peace if he isn't the one who's in charge, if he's not the one who is directing your steps and directing the way that you go? Paul, he's given us these steps. He's saying, hey, if you want a peace that surpasses understanding, if you want the peace that Jesus has come to give you, this incredible gift that is such an incredible gift to be able to walk through any circumstance and know that it's going to be okay. Because Jesus has given you that peace that surpasses understanding. And Paul's saying, hey, have right prayer. Take time. Stop trading your time for mindless things. Trade your time for prayer and for spending time in that relationship with Jesus. Right thinking. Stop allowing the algorithm to define your peace. Control the things that you look at and see. And then finally, the right living, allowing Jesus to be the one that directs our lives. And all of this gives us this peace that surpasses understanding. And what's beautiful about this season is that peace that surpasses understanding is an incredible witness to our neighbors and our friends and our family who don't know Jesus. Because they're going to be like, how can you experience this? How can you walk through this and still seem like you're okay? And then you get to say, you know what? If I was doing this by myself, I wouldn't be okay. But because I have Jesus, I have a Prince of Peace. I have a peace that surpasses understanding. Let's stop making the trade for the trash bags and the toilet paper. Let's accept the gift that Jesus has given us and allow that peace to be in our hearts. Will you pray with me?